So guys, welcome back to RBR. Can you see that I have my full smug face on today? Yes, you've seen the thumbnail already. I've finally, after 10 years of being a Porsche customer, I've got my first ever Porsche GT allocation, and it's not just any GT. It is my favorite car that they've potentially ever made, and it is of course the brand new Spyder RS. What a car. GT3 engine, air intakes for more noise on the side. The 4RS was already a mountain bike for the road, but this takes it even further. Now, as you guys know, RBR's never been a channel about my life or vlogging or what I do in my life, etc. It's not about me, it's about the product, and it's about car experiences. And the experience of ordering a GT product car is such a rare thing. There was no way that I wasn't going to share that with you guys. I mean, who out of us hasn't jumped on a Porsche configurator for some GT product car and not come out with our perfect spec and sent it to our mates? We've all done it. I mean, let me show you my favorite bit. We're gonna have a proper walk around of this in a minute. Look at that. The sound machine, the air intake, I'm gonna lick it. Sorry, Porsche Press, it had to be done. So guys, today, we're gonna go over some important stuff. First, I'm gonna spec my car with you, all right? I'm gonna go over a bunch of specking options, different options you can get on the Spyder, the main ones anyway, and then finalize today what we're gonna get. Then we're gonna discuss allocation. How does someone like you get to the point of ordering these rarer Porsches like the GT product? I'm gonna walk you through what my journey was, the cars I've had that have led into this, and I'll also talk a little bit about how I managed to get these cars in terms of affordability. Not the basic stuff, maybe stuff that others haven't shared with you yet. So I'm hoping that'll be useful as well. I'm also going for a bit of car hunting today. On a separate car, I need a daily to replace my family's Taycan that is now gone. I'm looking, in fact, at a hybrid solution from Porsche in the new Cayenne, so we'll do that as well. And of course, we're going to take a proper look around this amazing press Spyder RS. How can we not? I'll show you every detail of this car as well. And of course, we will finish the video by listening to a bit of music from those wonderful pipes. So those of you who've been on the channel before will know that Reading is in fact the HQ for Porsche in the UK. So the cars surrounding us now are all press cars, and you may recognize some of them from other magazines in the UK or other videos from journalists done in the UK. And in fact, speaking of which, I've just seen someone who's a colleague of mine who's just driven in with an amazing Porsche press car, and we absolutely have to go and say hi to him. See, this is absolute blasphemy. You've got all these wonderful Porsches over here, and some bell decides to bring an M2. Who would do this? Who has the gall to do this? The man himself, Joe Kiddies. How you doing, Joe?
Good, mate.
Give us a hug, man.
Yes. Yeah, good to see you.
It's been too long. How's things?
Very good, thanks. Very good. Nice to see the sun is out.
Can you see the smug face here? What's going on?
Why is that then?
Because I'm specking my very special car today.
Well, I've seen pictures of it.
You've seen pictures of it, right?
Yeah, it's stunning.
By the way, I'm proud of you. Sorry to interrupt. With the Costa Cup, well done, man. Well, good man, good man.
That just because I knew I was going to bump into
you. You knew you were going to see me, right?
Yeah.
You've had this for a while, haven't you?
It's awesome. Yeah, it's another brilliant 992. What are the odds? Yeah, it's another brilliant 992.
It looks amazing, man.
It looks incredible. It's got some special ingredients: carbon bonnet, carbon roof.
Yeah.
It's got the beautiful ducktail spoiler.
The interior is gorgeous. That heritage interior.
It's so nice that I didn't want to sit in it when I picked it up. I didn't want the floor mats getting dirty.
You wanted to kind of take your shoes off before you get in type thing. That is glorious, man. Houndstooth, tan, that's lovely.
Really, really nice.
So can we expect a video on this quite soon then?
Yes, mate. Yeah, it should be on the channel soon.
It's probably on the channel considering how long it's going to take me to edit mine.
Well, I'm pretty slow as well. So I don't know. Let's see. What, are we in June now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And how's the M2 been for you?
It's good. It's been a great car. I mean, I think, as I've said a lot of times on my channel, cars are expensive these days.
Yeah, they are.
But 65 grand when you look at, like, let's compare it to a 911, you know,
crazy.
base one's what, 100 grand now?
That's right.
So although it's not cheap, it's a great car, good bang for your buck.
That's a lot of bang for buck, actually.
It is, but I mean...
You look at some hot hatches these days and they're touching like 50, 60. Right?
Yeah. It's Type R,
yeah.
A Honda Civic, 50 grand. I mean, it's a brilliant car, but it's 50 grand.
I think the A35 is not far off as well,
wow.
Which is crazy when
who
you think about it.
A35? Is that A35?
Who else is going to say
an
that?
A-road?
Other than Mr. BMW himself. The blasphemy.
Right. Oh yes, yeah. Sorry, yeah. The 4-cylinder C63, that company. Yeah. But
That's still a sore subject, bro. I can't believe you ruined my mood. There was no way to get rid of the smug face other than to mention the 4-cylinder.
Listen,
C63.
I'm sure your audience, that I know predominantly, a loyal AMG fans, will agree with me that it's a big letdown.
Oh, they do.
I've always loved the C63 because of that V8 lump.
Yeah,
but anyway, it might be. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Things might change.
Yeah.
But it's great to see you, brother.
Yes, mate. Always.
Great to see you guys. If there's one man who I really respect and I wish I could get on his level when it comes to effort put into videos, when it comes to location, and just the love he puts into it, it genuinely is Joe. So, give him a follow, tell him that I sent you in the comments as well. That would be great.
I appreciate that.
I've got lots of work to do now, so I'll see you
Cheers,
later.
buddy. Should I just bank transfer that 200 quid?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
hang on. 200 quid?
Oh, did you say 2 grand?
I'm Asian, mate. You don't do anything for 200 quid.
Thank you, mate.
See you later, man. What an absolutely lovely surprise to see Joe here today. Complete coincidence. Right, now before I show you the spec of my Spyder RS, we're going to head inside. I want you guys to help me shop for a Cayenne. I've got 3 different cars I want to show you today, and you comment below which one you prefer. So let's head inside Porsche Reading and check those out first. So guys, before we get into the Spyder, I've got a little deal for you guys from our sponsor today, which is returning sponsor NordVPN. Now you guys trust me on cars, okay? But I'm also a tech guy. And in this day and age, your data is all on these devices. And it's not just personal data, it's financial data as well. So not having a VPN client in this day and age is absolute madness, and Nord are absolutely brilliant. It's so easy to turn on. It's just a singular click and that's it. You're protected. Now you think of the use case. I'm going to Porsche Reading today. I'll have my laptop with me. I'm going to be sending them the deposit for the car. Someone could set up a malicious Wi-Fi spot and I would never know. And that would be my financial data gone. But it goes beyond that. It's actually useful for entertainment. I travel a lot on press trips, as you guys know. If I set my location to the UK, I can always access my Netflix, Crunchyroll, all the stuff I'm watching back in the UK. Similarly, if I want to access a different region's content, I can do that. I can put in the USA or something else and access that content. It's so useful, and you can do that on your Android TV as well. On computers, you can just turn on auto protect and it'll protect you from cookies and malware and all that kind of stuff. It's brilliant. Of course, RBR viewers, you get a great discount. That's nord.com/RBR, or use the code RBR. And you also get a 30-day money back guarantee, but you need to have a VPN app. It's so useful, so avail that discount. Now guys, let's get back to Porsche Reading. So I've shown you guys this thing before, but Porsche Reading is one of the first destination Porsche centers. So they've got this all new brand identity where the front of the building looks like the rear of a Porsche. And now you can see the lights of the destination Porsche Reading Center on, and it looks amazing, just like the rear of a 911 or a Taycan or Cayenne. Properly stunning looking building. It's so cool. I love the attention to detail and the love that they have for their brand and their design. Now I want to introduce you to someone who's going to be helping me behind the scenes today on my spec, and he's standing right over there. So guys, I would like to introduce you to Kevin of Porsche Center Reading. How you doing, buddy?
Really good, thanks. Welcome to Porsche Center Reading.
Thank you. He's got the horrible job of listening to a smug little shit talk about his GT product specification again and again and again and again. How annoying have I been? You're allowed to be truthful.
Honestly, you've been great.
Are you
all the
sure?
way through, yeah. It's part of our job to, keep those dreams going for our customers. So
and bite your lip sometimes.
Exactly that.
His background is actually pretty amazing. So he used to be in the armed forces as a what were you doing? You were in PT, right? And
yeah, so
sport recovery.
I was working in sports rehabilitation, part of the Royal Armed Physical Training Corps.
I would never think so looking at you, but no, he's a lovely bloke. You've been at Reading for a year, over a year now?
Yeah, about 16 months now.
Yeah, amazing. So
loving it.
I've been here for 10 years buying cars. You probably think, he's just an influencer. He's just turned up and he's got a car. It's not like that. I've got a bit of a history, and I'll go over that with you guys. So that was Kevin, top bloke. Now we're going to head inside, and I'm going to do a little bit of Cayenne shopping with you guys. So they've got some nice cars here, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to go for, but I want to show you kind of what's going through my head. So this is Destination Porsche. It's this pit lane style. I've showed you guys this before, but just to reiterate, pit lane style showroom. So you've got kind of the racetrack, then these different pit lanes which serve different purposes. Got coffee corner over there, got your shop over there. This is your racing section, obviously, with the gorgeous 3RS, which I do love, but for me, Spyder RS is the way. Now, speaking of Cayenne, check this out. That is one zany looking Cayenne. I like it though, I like it. I might be one of the few, but this is in a, I believe, viola metallic. So we can see this is a PTS color, and on the configurator it says velvet purple metallic, and that's a 7.5 grand option, alongside the RS style wheels in neodyme. So it's a bit zany, but I actually quite like it. And of course this is a e-hybrid. All the ones that we are looking at is the base standard e-hybrid. And an absolute must is to have the sport pipes. And this has surround view as well, 360 camera, which again, for a big car, is one of my few things that I really, really want in this. So that's one option, that's one option. Speaking of Cayennes and options, how about that for an option? A proper Porsche equipment tent. I'll give you a look inside there. That's some decent space. And people have used these on 911s as well. Here you go. That's the price. Right, the next one we have interest in is this one. I love the Cayenne Coupe. And this looks like almost like a sleeper turbo or GT package car. Absolutely love the wheels. They're just like the ones you get on the Turbo GT. And this one has got the sports design front end, again, matching kind of turbo, etc. And even though this is just a base level e-hybrid, they've gone to town on the spec, but it's got the lightweight package, which is insane. Normally you get that on GTS and stuff. And look, because of that, it's got this awesome houndstooth interior, 2-seat in the rear as well to save weight, and the amazing carbon fiber roof. That's a spec I just would not expect on a standard e-hybrid. So I like that. This is kind of doing both jobs. It's got, you know, the hybrid element there, and then the benefit of the good looks of the turbo. Now there's one more here which kind of marries both of these concepts, and that's outside, and we're going to follow Kevin there and check out this special car. Now Kevin has very kindly shown me one that I'm really interested in. We had a look at this on the system, and this is, what color is this, buddy?
You filming me? Oh, don't do that.
Okay, so it's Montego blue, and this is with the electric line details actually for the hybrid, and the lovely 22-inch wheels as well. These are wheels that I got to see on the press drive as well, but it's really nicely spec'd. We've got sport pipes as well. The cool thing about this particular spec though, I think, is the fact that it's got a duotone light interior, and I love my light interiors. Something with a bit more excitement. This at the moment is the front runner in terms of how good it looks, but yeah, the others look good as well. Let's see what happens. Watch this space. Right guys, before we spec the car, the secret of how to get allocation. Let me fill you in, right? What you do is, you head to that office up there, which is the big boss's office, okay? You take a fat wad of 50s. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about allocation in a second. Of course, at RBR, I'm going to show you what the car's actually going to look like using our own VFX, which is much more realistic. So let's go outside and let's spec my Spyder. So guys, the next question is this allocation lock. How on earth do you get allocation for these rare GT cars? Well, for me, it's taken around about 10 years, and that's probably exaggerated because there was a period in between where I wasn't buying Porsche cars. Well, I'm going to talk you through my journey a little bit. My first ever performance car experience was when I was around about 20-something years old, and I came in right here to Porsche Center Reading, saw David Folkes, who was then the salesman for Richard Hammond, for Chris Harris. So as a young petrolhead, I was like, oh my God, you serve these guys? And he took me seriously, credit to Porsche Reading. And he did for the next, 6-7 years. And we went out in this Cayman and I loved it, but I couldn't afford it back then. And I ended up buying an SLK 55 AMG, and that started off my whole Mr. AMG journey, if you like. But the first proper performance car that I drove was right here, and it was a Cayman. Many years later, I came back and I bought my first ever Porsche. It was actually thanks to my dad, who wanted to experiment a bit out of, he was a Mercedes man and he wanted to kind of branch out. So we found this used, I think it was an X-Demo 991.1 Carrera S in this amazing launch color blue. And to this day, I can't remember what the name of this color is. If any of you guys know, please do tell me. And as any good spoilt son would do, I nicked it off him and never gave him back the keys, basically. It was amazing, naturally aspirated engine, lovely biscuit interior with that blue. Absolutely loved it. Loved it so much, in fact, that I then ordered with David a Macan Turbo. It was one of the first that came into the UK, and it had like the red and black interior and everything on it. It just looked amazing, and that was the daily car from then on. After that began the whole Instagram, YouTube thing, and for years I didn't buy anything until I drove the new 992 here with press a number of times, drove the turbo and was just blown away. So when an opportunity of a cancelled order came up for a Turbo S, I jumped at it. And as you guys know, I love the Turbo S. It was insane. Most of all, I loved the looks because I thought it was just too powerful for the road and probably a bit too pricey for the privilege as well. And around about this time, I went on the press drive for the 911 GTS for the new 992. And again, blown away by it, just thinking, this is the sweet spot of the 992. So around about that time, I pre-ordered the GTS. Remember, all at the same dealership. We're building a relationship here over a few years, keeping in contact. I then got my first ever electric car, which was the Cross Turismo, which again, you guys know, I did 30,000+ miles in a year and a half in that. Absolutely loved that car to pieces, still rave about it all the time. And then from there straight into a Sport Turismo. In between, I ordered a new Macan as well that I never spoke about. Eventually I didn't buy it, but a friend of mine did. The GTS again came from Reading. We had a great time collecting that, did the Living With GTS review, which you guys love as well. And one thing to remember, that each of these cars, when I went to sell them, I gave first refusal to the dealership who supplied them. And again, that helps build the relationship because they get a second bite at selling a car that's been with a customer that they trust. So the last one I had was the GTS, and it was a great car, and it came back to Reading. And after that, that's when I asked, look, I want something a little bit more special now. It's been a good few years of ordering these cars. The salespeople who I built that relationship were always fighting my corner to try and get me an allocation. And what I did, I kind of set my stall out that, look, I have an AMG GT Black Series, so I've got zero interest in duplicating that with a GT3 or a 3 RS or Sport Classic or anything like that. My thing that I wanted was either a 4 RS or this Spyder RS. I kind of held out for that, look, it's got to be one of these. It's what makes sense to me as a kind of a long-term ownership opportunity. So that's kind of the journey of getting to Spyder RS. Obviously I was delighted when I heard that it was going to happen. And then the next best bit happens, which is kind of how do you spec this thing? So there's a number of ways to do it. The way that Porsche Press have done it is brilliant, and it's one of the colors that Press and my friends and a lot of people have said, look, white just looks incredible on this car, and I do agree. So what we're first going to do, we're going to have a look around this amazing Spyder RS, which is the Porsche Press car, Porsche GB Press car. Have a look at some of the options that you get on the car so you kind of understand how one ends up speccing it, what options are available, and then we're going to spec mine together on top of this virtually, and you can see what I went for. So guys, here is the beautiful Spyder RS, which is the Porsche GB Press car. You're going to be seeing this quite a lot in cars and magazines. In fact, I've been reliably told that the first person to have this car is our friend of RBR and all your favorite journalists, which is Chris Harris. So we'll be seeing him doing something undoubtedly quite interesting on this, on collecting cars. But yeah, what a nice spec. I did not think that white would suit the Spyder, I'll be honest. People kept saying to me, go for white, go for white, go for white. And I was like, well, no, I'm going to go a different route. But I can totally understand why they were saying that. Undoubtedly, white bringing out a lot of the details of the Spyder because it really contrasts well against the carbon elements that are unique to this car. And of course, things like our vent on top of the obvious YSAC package. Speaking of YSAC package, this is not like a 3 RS or a 4 RS where you end up with like roll cages and other stuff that really help performance. It's really a lot more aesthetic. So we've got our front bonnet here, which is finished in carbon, and you can get a separate option, which I'll show you, which has a body colored stripe down the middle. Of course, you've got your NACA ducts in here, very GT3 and GT2 RS. In addition to your bonnet, your side intakes are in carbon as well. Your process air intakes, those beautiful things, also in carbon. Mirror caps in carbon. You've got a lip on the spoiler. You've got your rollover protection and the rollover bar just behind that as well, all finished in carbon fiber. And probably the best bit that most people sleep on, the 935 race car inspired exhaust tips. They are the best looking exhaust tips on any Porsche anywhere. And they're pretty much the main reason that you cannot go without the YSAC. These are the standard wheels. They're the pick of the bunch as far as I'm concerned. These are the 718 specific wheels that I think started life in the 911 Speedster concept, and then they've evolved kind of into this, and you find them in GT4 and in this Spyder RS. This wonderful cut is one of the nicest things you will ever see on a production car in the world, particularly at this price. That's just lovely. Spyder RS sitting there is nice. We may do that in a different color, but the best part of this car has to be that rear part with your ducktail rear spoiler, which looks so amazing. It is humongous in person. I cannot overstate how huge this spoiler actually is in reality, and that little carbon lip on top helping even more. And of course then the typical Spyder rear as well. And of course Spyder is how Porsche started. Their whole history began with the original Spyder. So it's such an important car, and of course this is the last combustion 718 as well. And then my absolute favorite bit, which is the lickable air intakes, here finished in carbon, which look amazing. Even the little vents, the hexagonal vents in there look cool. But the best thing is how satisfying this thing is. Just listen to this, right? Listen. I can't explain to you how, you know, like when you close an AirPod or something like that, something that's extremely mechanically satisfying. I could do this again and again. It's just, I love that. It's just beautiful, beautiful engineering. In fact, I'll show you where you store the roof in here, which infamously takes about 7 hours to kind of take on and off. So you can see, I didn't actually know this because I'm not that well acquainted with the Spyder, but this actually pops off. And I love the look of that. I love that little red strap. Tell you what, I might actually chuck on an RBR keyring onto that when I get mine. That look quite cool, or would I look like a complete prat? Vote in the comments. And then you've actually got a decent amount of storage space back here. That's our rear screen that I mentioned, which is optional. And our roof is hiding in there, nicely tucked away. Don't worry, I'm not going to take it on and off today. That's not what today is about. We will discuss that when I get my car. So yeah, I actually really like it in white. Good job, Porsche Press, on that. Inside, they've also gone for the correct spec for this exterior spec, which is Weissach with the red details. So guys, that's the press car. Now, I'm going to overlay onto this the options that I have chosen for this car. So the first thing I did was to go for the launch color for the Spyder RS, which is the vanadium grey. It's a specific color that you can only get on the Spyder RS. It's an amazing grey with what seems to have like hints of blue. So I've not seen it in person, but I've been sent lots of pictures and it seems to look amazing. And my thinking here is launch color Spyder RS will always be relevant over time. And then of course the main option had to go for Weissach package. How can you not go for Weissach package? It's just not possible. Spyder, it's still, yeah, you could maybe not do it. Like there was a lovely press car on launch which looked fantastic even without that Weissach package. But for me, it's just got to be the Weissach. But I have a huge love for the 4RS as well. So I wanted to bring a bit of that into my spec. So what I did was I brought in the blue wheels that were so famous on the 4RS, but I did not go for mag wheels. As nice as they are, the fact that if something goes wrong and you have to replace them, there's something like 20K per corner is insane, right? So I just did not, I want to use this car. It's not a garage queen. It's only a couple of videos and then piss off into the nether. I'm actually going to use this car and I plan to keep it. So I said, right, I'm just going to go for the standard wheels in the blue finish. Then I went with the carbon ceramics. Of course, you have to go for carbon ceramics, right? So I did that and I kept them in yellow because I want a bit of playfulness because the grey is quite, you know, it's quite sedate. And then the other thing in terms of exterior details is, do you go for the coloured stripe down the bonnet, which used to be a CXX option? It's not anymore. Now it's simply part of the options list. And I have done that because I think having body colour, break up the huge carbon bonnet really does work. And it gives you kind of GT2 RS vibes as well, which is quite nice. Now the other bit of specking is of course interior, which normally in a Porsche you get a ton of options that you can do. But when you go for Weissach package, it's all a little bit more limited, which is fine because of course you're going to go for Weissach package. But basically you get two main options. One is either with the red details as Porsche's press car have here today, or the other one is the grey. And given the fact that I'm trying to bring more blue into my spec, I decided to go for the grey, which is going to look something like this, okay? But what I will do is I will throw in some blue details, for example, with our door handles there and a few other choice things that I'm thinking about, including some seat inserts made by Justin on Instagram. I'm sure you guys would have seen his work before. He does amazing work. It was in Harris's GT3 touring that he had recently as well. So I'm thinking of bringing some blue in from one of his lovely heritage designs, or maybe something like houndstooth. We will see. So yeah, not a major amount of choice in the Spyder RS, but that's fine because all the action and all the excitement comes from that engine and the air intakes on the side. That's what it's all about with this car. So that is the basic spec. There's a few other little details that I want to show you when the car eventually comes as well. But that is basically what I've gone for. And one cool thing is you can actually see the spec turn up when you look on your My Porsche app. And you'll see your car go through stages until eventually it goes into production, and you'll even get an image of the car while it's in production, which is pretty incredible. So guys, one really important topic is, and I get asked it so much, is how do you afford these type of cars? Now, apart from the obvious thing of income, right, and affordability, the other side of it is something that people don't talk about a lot. One is having good accountants, because it doesn't matter sometimes if you've got income or you're making good investments, etc., etc. It's how best to manage your finances and manage them in a way that they appear correct on paper when a funder looks at it, so they're accurate and they actually show that you can afford stuff. And I've never spoken about this before. Accountancy was something that I was into before all of this. My dad was an accountant as well, so I have a good understanding of how important it is. And the accountants that I use, I want to share with you guys. And I'm going to go to the extent, I've actually gone to the extent of creating an email address there. And what you can do is get in touch with them. Ross and McKinley have been incredible in rearranging my finances, helping me save tax, actually taking advantage of things that I didn't realize that I was entitled to, and really thinking outside the box. I think any good lawyer, you guys are like me, you probably watch the show Suits with Harvey Specter, etc. Any good lawyer or accountant thinks outside of the box. It's like what Harvey and Mike say, when you got a gun pointed at your head, you think of another option. And it's the same with a good accountant. And I can't recommend these guys enough. They've really turned things around for me as well. So absolutely recommend them, go to them. I will be monitoring the emails as well, and they will take care of you, whether you're a big corporate who gets audited or just a small guy, with a little bit of income who's looking to sort things out for himself. Honestly, go and speak to them. So that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is car finance, because it's okay to be able to get an allocation or you find a good car at a good price, but if the finance is rubbish and the terms are crap, then you're on the road to nowhere and it becomes unaffordable. Again, it's all about affordability. And I use Charles & Dean. What most people don't realize, you don't just have to go to the manufacturer finance companies. If you go to someone like Charles & Dean, who are a broker, they can look at all the other finance companies, find you the best rate, the best type of deal, like if you want to settle maybe within a year. Some people will have penalties, etc., which others won't. So they will tailor it to your needs, be it business or personal. And I can't recommend them enough. Again, been using them for years. There's a link down below. They will take special care of you because there is a team there who deal with RBR viewers specifically. So check them out. And I think there's a good chance you will save hundreds on a monthly cost versus a dealer. So again, it's all about affordability, and I can't recommend these guys enough on that. Now we're going to sign off, guys. I'm going to give you a little bit of noise from the Spyder as a final bye-bye, because I do not want to drive this car until I actually get it physically, okay? I just don't want to do that, because that will ruin a really, really special moment that I want to share with you guys. So let's jump in and have a listen to the Spyder RS. Okay guys, let's turn on this beautiful GT3 engine, exhaust on, PDK Sport. What an engine. I cannot wait for this car. If you've enjoyed this episode of RBR, which was a very personal one for me, please do like and subscribe. The collection is merely a month away actually. So very, very close, and I can't wait to unveil the car with you. Have huge plans for it, and I'll see you guys next time.